How's it going, class? Hope you've had a great day so far. At this point in time, you should have watched the video about the BMW Driving Assistant Plus. Um, that guy did a pretty good job on the infomercial, but I'm here today to kind of give you more of a nuts and bolts, uh, let's get down to brass tacks type of description on some of the sensors. In front of us, we have a 2017 BMW X5, the M. Again, sorry, I wish I had a live vehicle to do a walk around, make it a little bit more interesting rather than you listen to my boring voice. I'm going to try and keep my voice upbeat, try and disseminate some pretty neat statistics and functions of the couple of the sensors on this vehicle. First, I want to draw your attention to the front end of the vehicle. We're going to be talking about the active cruise control, or as BMW calls it, ACC. In previous models and previous generations of their active cruise control, they were using one long-range radar sensor and two short-range radar sensors. Their newest, latest, and greatest ACC sensor is integrated as a control unit, so you have the radar sensor and the unit as one, and it combines the short range capabilities and long range capabilities. So now you have one sensor that is capable of doing short range and long range functions. Another, I guess, added feature with this newest upgrade is BMW's stop and go function. Basically, it gives you the driver the ultimate laziness factor, I guess you could say, as you're sitting in traffic. This is designed specifically for stop and go, and it's able to determine distances and cruise control up to a standstill. And then the automatic drive off feature happens when the car in front of you moves. Again, there's a 1 to 3 second delay before the vehicle will move after it senses that the vehicle in front has moved. But and then it's also upgraded its ability for dynamic braking control in the case of collision avoidance or collision mitigation. But just kind of a functional description for you. Kind of cool. Like I mentioned, it's capable of both short range and long range radar. The range on the long range radar is up to 200 meters, and the short range radar detection is up to about 60 meters. Now again, that's going from the front of the vehicle. So now, as far as computing and other control modules that are involved with the stop and go function, BMW has a control module called the ICM, the Integrated Chassis Management Control Module, and that ICM helps in the following functions or the following tasks. So it's collecting the data transferred by the radar sensor regarding what the objects are that it's seeing or bouncing signals off of. It's evaluating those objects, and then it basically makes the distance control decision. It's evaluating the signals, and then it's generating the display signal, and then again it regulates the speed and the distance, and then most of this data is transferred via FlexRay. So if you guys are familiar with body control systems, CAN generally operates about 500 megabits per second. FlexRay is about 10 times that. sorry, I may have CAN operates at about 500 kilobits. FlexRay is anywhere from 7 to 10 megabits per second. So again, lots faster. And again, the ICM, it's kind of monitoring all of the signal inputs. So the ICM is connected via FlexRay, but the ACC control unit, the active control or active cruise control, is connected on the sensor CAN network. So again, that's about 500 kilobits per second as far as the data transfer speed. Just an interesting thing to note. If you guys are familiar with CAN diagnosis and terminating resistors, both the ACC control module, the cruise control module, and the ICM control module, integrated chassis management, they both have a terminating resistor in them. So for this sensor CAN network, those two modules are the ones that house the terminating resistor. And again, each terminating resistor has 120 ohms of resistance. So just kind of an FYI, kind of neat to know. As far as the capability of the radar sensor itself, it needs at least 7 to 14 volts to operate. The frequency at which it operates or it transmits is 76 to 77 gigahertz. The short range portion of the sensor, the angle at which it projects is 56 degrees, and then as far as the long range portion of that sensor, it projects at 16 degrees. And again, temperature range or operating temperature is anywhere from negative 40 degrees Celsius to all the way up to 80 degrees Celsius. So those of you guys with a lot of time on your hands, you can grab your conversion calculator and convert that into Fahrenheit. But basically, it's below freezing and, you know, almost 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So anyway, that's just kind of a summary of that. Then we'll direct our attention here to the front view camera. Again, so BMW has an acronym for this. The proper name for this guy here is the Camera-Based Driver Support Systems. Okay, and the acronym is KAFAS. You know, go figure. When I was working on BMWs in the shop, I never quite figured out or memorized all of the acronyms for all of the modules on the vehicles. I finally just determined that you know, there's always got to be something to complain about, and it was always fun to, you know, curse the engineers who came up with all these dumb acronyms. But anyway, I digress. But as far as this camera-based driver support system goes, its primary function is to determine lane departure. Okay, so again, it's looking at the lines on the road. It also has a high beam assistance function to it. It has a traffic sign recognition or road sign detection, and those are neat features. But some of the new features that are in this this newest integrated into the ACC and to the camera are collision warning and passing ban. So passing ban is kind of detecting where you can and where you can't pass on like a 2-lane road or things like that. So it's reading the dotted yellow and the solid yellow lines, as well as picking up no passing zone signs. So anyway, that's kind of cool. A little bit of background information on that. Basically how it's able to detect or help in high beam switching on and switching off. the light points or the lighter colors that it's seeing or the intensity of the light that it's seeing is all evaluated by that camera control module, and then the control unit makes a determination whether to switch on the high beams or switch off the high beams. Just kind of a side note here, BMW has a package that is specifically labeled High Beam Assistant. If a BMW is equipped with High Beam Assistant package or feature, that particular feature is implemented with its own camera and control unit, and instead of having that in the regular camera or have that regular control module massage that data or that input that it's giving, it's actually incorporated into the rear view mirror. So just kind of an FYI, I doubt any of you will ever have to check to see if X BMW has High Beam Assistant or not, but that's just kind of an FYI for you. So if it does have High Beam Assistant, that's integrated into the rear view mirror. But the front view camera and companion module have the capability to detect light and command high beams on and off as well. So now this the KAFAS camera-based driver support system, it's connected on the powertrain can. So obviously it needs to be connected to ABS, traction control, stability control, and that's why it's connected on the PT can or powertrain can. Again, it needs about 9 to 16 volts to operate properly, and temperature range is from -40 to -85 degrees Celsius. And again, if one of you has lots of time on your hands, you can do that calculation for us. But anyway, so that's just kind of a rundown of these two types of sensors here. Hopefully this was more informative and gave you a little bit more background information. Again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to send me an email or shoot me a text. My information is in the syllabus. So hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll talk to you later.